He opened a photo album and pointed at a girl. "That's my sister," he said confidently. But his sister had died before he was even born. Everyone in the room froze. His mother looked at him, confused, trembling. She whispered, "You never had a sister." He didn't believe her. He had memories. He remembered playing hide and seek with her. Her voice, her laugh, her red dress. How could a memory feel so real, yet be completely fake? Science calls it a false memory. But this wasn't just forgetting a detail. This was a fabricated life inside his head. He was grieving someone who never existed. And the scariest part? It's not just him. It could happen to you, and you'd never even know until it's already destroyed something real. In the late 1990s, a woman named Jennifer Thompson stood in a courtroom and pointed at a man. She was sure, absolutely sure, he was a man who broke into her apartment and assaulted her. The jury believed her. Ronald Cotton was sentenced to life in prison. Jennifer felt relief. She believed justice had been done. But 11 years later, DNA evidence proved something horrifying. She was wrong. Ronald was innocent. She had sent the wrong man to prison, based on a false memory. This wasn't a lie. It was her truth. A truth her brain had carefully constructed out of terror and confusion. Jennifer later met Ronald. She cried and said something chilling. "I would have bet my life that it was you." And she wasn't alone. In studies, psychologists have planted fake memories in people's minds. Memories of getting lost in a mall as a child, being attacked by a dog, even witnessing a demonic possession. Some people cried recalling these memories. Some developed anxiety. Others swore they remembered the details vividly, but none of it had ever happened. Memory isn't a camera. It's more like a painter with a shaky hand and a vivid imagination. And under pressure, especially emotional pressure, it starts filling in the gaps, even if those gaps never existed. So when you say, "I know what I saw," you might just be remembering a lie your brain created for your protection. Or worse, for your destruction. It starts small. You remember putting your keys on the table, but later, you find them in your jacket pocket. You're sure your friend said she'd meet you at 5, but she insists it was 6. You blame her memory, never suspecting your own. But what if it's not just keys or times? What if your entire past is cracks, and your brain is quietly filling them with fiction? In 1995, a study by psychologist Elizabeth Loftus showed something terrifying. People were shown a doctored image of themselves in a hot air balloon as a child. Within days, many began to recall the ride, the wind, the height, their parents' voices. It never happened, but the memory felt real, because our brain doesn't need truth. It just needs emotion and suggestion. A whispered lie, a misunderstood story, a dream mistaken for memory. That's all it takes. And once it's there, your mind defends it like fact. You build stories around it. You feel emotions around it. You react to it as if it defines who you are. And slowly, you become a person built on shadows. In therapy, people have uncovered memories of childhood abuse that later turn out to be false. Families destroyed, lives shattered, all because the mind can't always tell real from constructed. And the worst part? It's not rare. Your brain rewrites memories all the time. Each time you recall something, you change a little. So the more you remember, the more you re-edit, until the original moment is buried under layers of fiction. And by the time you realize it, you're no longer living your life. You're living a story your brain wrote. You trust your memories, don't you? After all, they're yours. Moments that shaped you, decisions you made, pain you felt. But what if I told you that your most defining moment might be a lie? Think back to your childhood, a moment you've told others about countless times. You cried, you laughed, you remember it like it was yesterday. But what if that memory never actually happened? In 2001, a brother and sister were convinced their father abused them. They remembered the details, the room, the smell, the night, tears, rage, fear. The father went to prison. Years later, it was revealed a therapist had unintentionally planted the idea. Over time, their minds filled in the blanks. The trauma felt real. The pain was genuine, but the memory was fiction. Now pause. Ask yourself, what if your anger at someone is based on a memory that never existed? What if you've hated someone for something they never did? Or worse, what if you've loved someone for something that never happened? The human mind doesn't record memories like a camera. It edits, it protects, it creates. In 1980s, thousands of adults recalled being in satanic cults during therapy. Graphic abuse, rituals, evil, but investigations revealed none of it was real. Mass hysteria, false memory syndrome. Entire lives destroyed because the brain believes something hard enough. Now look around you. Your relationships, your fears, your identity. How much of it is truly real? And how much is fabricated stability? A mental illusion that keeps you from falling apart. Because if just one core memory is false, your entire personality can crack open like glass. And in that silence, you start to wonder, who are you really? You wake up one morning, and suddenly, that memory you've held on to for years feels blurry, off. Was it really your memory? Or something someone told you so many times, you adopted it? Your graduation day, your first heartbreak, that fight with your mother, were you really the victim? Or have you been hiding the truth from even yourself? Your brain is your safe space. But now, it feels like a traitor. How can you trust your emotions when they're built on foundations of fiction? You stare at old photographs, searching for proof. You text a childhood friend. Do you remember that day? They say, no, I don't think that ever happened. Your heart drops. Panic, confusion. If that moment was false, how many others are too? Your sense of justice, shattered. Your grudges, baseless. Your love stories, half written by someone else's imagination. The brain doesn't ask for permission to rewrite history. It does it silently, subtly, until the truth becomes a tangled knot you can't undo. You feel the ground beneath your mind crack. Your identity collapses, not with a scream, but with a whisper. What if none of it was real? And just like that, you're not living your life. You're surviving a story. Your brain made up. Your mind is not a camera. It doesn't record events. It reconstructs them. Each time you recall a memory, you're not retrieving the original file. You're creating a new version, touched by your mood, beliefs, and surroundings. Psychologists call this the reconstructive nature of memory. Your brain fills in blanks. It smooths over gaps, and sometimes it inserts moments that never even happened. Why? Because your brain doesn't care about truth. It cares about consistency. If a new story makes more emotional sense, your brain might swap it in. Ever had a fight where both people swore they remembered it differently? They weren't lying. They were both telling their truth, their false truth. This is called the Mandela effect. When masses remember something wrong, like a shared hallucination, but it's not magic, it's how memory actually works. There's also confabulation, when the brain unintentionally fabricates details to fill memory gaps. The person isn't trying to deceive. They truly believe the false version. Then comes source amnesia. You remember a fact, but forget where you learned it. Was it a dream? A movie? A story someone told you? Slowly, lines blur. Fiction feels like fact, and emotion becomes evidence. Trauma also alters memory. Sometimes it erases moments entirely. Other times, it rewrites them in more survivable forms. So when you say, I know what I saw, I remember it clearly, pause. You might be remembering what your brain needed you to believe, because in the courtroom of your mind, your memories aren't witnesses, they're storytellers, and sometimes they lie. So what is real if your own memories can't be trusted? You walk through life believing in your past. It might be rewritten by fear, pain, or even love. It's terrifying, but also empowering, because now you know the truth. Memories can be manipulated, not just by others, but by your own mind. You don't need to fear every thought, but you must question what you cling to. That grudge you've held for years? Are you sure it happened the way you think it did? That truth you tell yourself to justify your anger? Could it be a false comfort? The real power lies in awareness. To step back and ask, is this memory serving me or trapping me? Because when you understand how your mind edits the past, you can finally take back control of your present. Not everything you remember is true, but everything you believe shapes who you are. So believe wisely, choose awareness, and always question the story your brain wants to tell, because reality might just be one edit away. If you found this story unsettling, good. It should unsettle you, because your mind, the very thing you rely on, can lie to you. False memories aren't rare. They happen every day, to people like you, to people like me. So the next time you feel certain about a past event, pause, reflect, ask yourself, do I remember it or do I just believe I do? This isn't just psychology. It's a wake-up call for your relationships, for your trauma, for your truth, because healing begins not with memory, but with awareness. If the story made you feel something, if it made you think differently, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Subscribe for more real-life psychology stories that dig deep into the mind, and comment below. Have you ever questioned your own memory? Sometimes the scariest prison is the one we build with memories that never even happened.